It's the end of the world as we know it, and you're having a baby? Well, folks, it happens. Women get pregnant. People are still going to have sex no matter how bad things are or how awful they get. Disaster or no disaster, people are going to have sex. That means that there's a chance that there's going to be procreation. And there are a handful of things that, if it is an absolute social breakdown, a long-term one that is not recovering, there are some things that you may want to consider. Number one, probably the most important, noise. Babies are noisy and loud. They have to be. It's the only way they know how to communicate. And this is a dead giveaway. People, you do not realize just how much noise we all make. There is a constant background hum that goes on all the time. It's from electricity, from the street lamps, from motor cars, from aircraft, from people's homes, radios and televisions and talking and everything. All of our industry, especially if you live in an urban area or a city, all of our industry produces a great deal of background noise. Those of you who have ever been deep, deep in the woods, in a desert area, or in an abandoned town, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? Probably only about 5% of the noise that you ignore because it's behind you all the time in the background. Probably only about 5% of that is natural. The rest of it is all man-made. And when that sound is gone, you will hear a pin drop a block away, and people will hear your baby. If you have a baby and you're bugging in, you're going to have to noise-proof a room any way that you can, preferably in the basement. But if you don't have that, if you're in an apartment, if you're in a house, you're going to have to select a room and noise-proof it as best you can so the people on the outside in the street will not hear that child and come exploring. Hang blankets on the walls, tear insulation out of another house and staple it to the walls in a room, the windows, cover the doors, the ceiling, the floor. Buffer that room as best you can. Number two, sanitation. That baby, for its own survival, is going to have to be kept a lot cleaner than we can tolerate for ourselves as adults. And this is at a time where water is going to be extremely precious. That's another commodity that we take very, very for granted. Water is wasted so desperately, and it's so vitally important for life. But you're going to have to do your best to keep that child clean so that it will not get sick and die. Sponge baths, baby wipes. Obviously, you're not going to be able to submerge the child in water if you don't have a great deal of water resources, but do the best you can to keep it clean, which bleeds into number three, latrine. Obviously, a newborn, baby, toddler cannot manage their own waste, and a diaper stockpile will only last for so long. You're going to have to learn to use cloth diapers. You're going to have to go back to that and keep them clean, again, with limited water resources. You're also going to have to dispose of that waste away from the property in a proper latrine fashion, just like you do with your own solid waste. It's got to be taken away and buried at least 200 feet from the house. Number four, food. Obviously, the child can't eat what you eat. If you have a newborn, you're going to have to breastfeed. I know a lot of women in Western culture have really moved away from breastfeeding. They want to use formula because it's more convenient, because it's more simple, but it's also not as healthy. It says so right on the can, but you may not be able to get formula at all. You're going to have to breastfeed. And you're also going to have to prepare food when the child's old enough to eat food in a way that they are able to digest it. It's got to be mashed. The flavor can't be too strong. You can't use spices. There's a lot to consider there. Number 5, God forbid you had to bug out. Transportation with a child is going to be very difficult. They are a load. You will have to carry them everywhere. They're heavy, they make noise, they're fragile. Preferably, if you do not have access to a motor vehicle, if that's just not going to work, a bike with a child transport, a wagon basically attached, baby carriers, although baby carriers can get to be a problem because the ones where the child's legs are separated can develop a rash on the child between its legs with extreme long-term use. How you will transport that child is going to be vital. You have got to have a very solid plan if you have to move the child. And 6, if you will, because we like to give you a bonus, preventive medicine. You should always have easy to manage birth control on hand, such as condoms, because people, as I said, are still going to have sex no matter how bad things get. And also consider, this is where the whole prepper community idea comes into play. If you are pregnant when things happen, you may want to keep in touch with someone from the medical profession, just in case there are complications with the delivery, illness with the child. Hell, even a veterinarian is better than nothing. As I said, you may already be pregnant or have a newborn or a toddler when disaster strikes. Keep that in mind and be prepared. I hope that this video has given you some insight. If you have anything to add, please feel free to post it in the comments section down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. I hope that you did. Share it if you can and subscribe if you are new. Check out some of the other videos. You may find something helpful to you. So like it always says, stay frosty, folks, and thanks for watching.